Self fuckers.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's one and done. No, seriously though, I mean, especially if the character or the player or the character is or the NPC is like, especially like a teenage male, you don't really have to twist their arm to get them to do that. I was gonna say because Ian and JJ would just be disgusting on a lot of times. Right.
I Yeah, you can put in your filler words after the task you wish to have done is done. Lead with that. The point of this spell is to tell people what you want them to do, not to lead up and set the stage for them. You, you would think that would be more intuitive just by the fact that the name of the spell is demand. like potatoes. What? Ogno want to think of words? Yeah.
Jacob, I just got a message from Munchie. She said she can't hear you in the stream.
Can she hear me now?
See, puppy.
Did you have yourself like muted to the?
I apparently, when I clicked on the unmute to unmute the my end, it didn't register until just now.
Alrighty then.
So everything I said for the past 14 minutes is practically useless.
That's okay. Nobody's here for you anyway.
Yeah. This isn't the first
Why
time this
would
has
they be
happened,
here?
but it's been caught significantly early on. Like last time it happened, there was like it wasn't noticeable till like there was like 40 minutes passed.
Oh no, that's not good.
And it was Saint who went, "Hey, I can't hear you. I can hear him. I can't hear you." And I went, "Oh God, bloody hell." So to do a quick iteration for those, don't stress it, Nova. We're not mad at you. We're just mad at the fact that it didn't decide to do it.
No. No. It's her fault.
I mean, that's your opinion. But to somewhat rapidly catch up so I don't have to reiterate every little thing. The spell we just partially covered, by partially I mean you just heard their side of it, is the spell Demand. It's an enchantment, compulsion, mind affecting effect. It's a 8th level sorcerer wizard spell. Will for partial. Spell resistance, yes. What the spell does is you send a message that's 25 words or less, and you have to include a suggestion in it. As in, some part of that message has to actually be a real suggestion. If you didn't really get from the one-sided conversation they were having. So like I said, you send a message. In that message is a suggestion, so you can give them information and tell them what you want to do. If you don't add the suggestion, then all they get is the message. Because the spell technically is the spell message and suggestion wrap into one. It's still good because it's an 8th level spell, which means at minimum you're having like a 22 DC. So it's really not that easy to pass it unless you have really good will saving throw. Typically a 12 or higher should help. But at minimum, you're giving them a message. At maximum, they get a message and they have to do that suggestion. When we get to the S's and we cover suggestion, we'll cover the limitations of the spell, well, of the spell effect suggestion. But demand is still, regardless of any particular opinion, whether you heard their one-sided part of it or not. Hopefully, you got the gist from what their responses were. The spell is still very effective, very good. Just don't be stupid and forget to add the suggestion in it.
You have 25 words in which to get your desired result across.
Exactly. That being said, because I don't really want to beat a dead horse on this spell, for any of those watching, if you have any questions about demand, please leave a comment. Especially if you're confused about anything, because I talked to only those two for a few minutes. But you guys can fully hear me on the next spell, which some people are pissed off that this spell will make them evil, and while also arguing about how it should be higher level, because they don't like it when people pass this. Desecrate. Yes, they are upset when people somehow resist this spell. Desecrate is an evocation, evil spell, if the name didn't give it away. It is a 2nd level cleric, 2nd level evil domain spell. So more emphasis on it's an evil spell. Components: verbal,
Right.
semantic, material, divine, focus. Casting time, standard action, range, close. Area is a 20-foot radius, emulation, so it just kind of sits in that area and emulations for a bit. Duration, 2 hours per caster level, which pretty much means that it starts off with a huge timer on it, and the higher level you are, which you're probably going to be like level 3 or 4 when you cast this spell, so you're getting like 6 to 8 hours. I would have to double check when clerics get 2nd level spells. But still, you're sitting there for literal hours with this spell in effect, affecting the area. Saving throw, none, which is somewhat confusing why people are upset that, why is it being resisted? It shouldn't be resisted. It's like, it has its own limitations, and when I take the description, you'll understand the limitations and why some people need to slap themselves. Spell resistance, yes. The effect. This spell imbues an area with negative energy. Each charisma check made to turn undead within the area takes a -3 profane penalty. And every undead creature entering a desecrated area gains a +1 profane bonus on attack rolls, damage rolls, saving throws. An undead creature created within or summoned into such an area gain +1 hit points per hit die. Pretty much meaning undead just get really, really powerful. Well, not necessarily really, really powerful, but they just get more powerful in that area. Because again, +1 on saves, +1 on damage rolls and attack rolls, kind of makes a party go, ugh. And they get at minimum 1 to whatever their hit dice are in additional hit points. If the desecrated area contains an altar, shrine, or other permanent fixture dedicated to your deity or aligned higher power, the modifiers given above are doubled. Pretty much it's a -6 to the turning penalty check, and it's up like a +2 bonus to the attack rolls, saving throws, and damage, and a +2 hit points per hit die for the undead. Furthermore, anyone who casts Animate Dead within the area may create as many as double the normal amount of undead, that is 4 hit dice per caster level, rather than 2 hit dice per caster level. which lets you hit your limit a lot faster because you're creating even more undead. If the area contains an altar, shrine, or other permanent fixture of a deity, pantheon, or higher power other than your patron, the desecration spell instead curses the area, cutting off its connection with the associated deity or power. The secondary function, if used, does not grant the bonuses and penalties related to undead as given. Which pretty much means if it's cursing the area, the penalty to turning checks isn't there. The bonuses to the undead to their attacks and hit points and saves isn't there. Desecration counters and dispels consecrate. Material component, a vial of unholy water and 25 gold pieces worth of silver dust. All must be sprinkled around the area. So this spell does have...
these people, all the silver dust that they want for these spells, I'm surprised there's not more people who have, systemic silver poisoning walk around looking like Smurfs in this world.
Yeah, it does get real funny real quick. But yeah, this spell is quite potent. It does have a lot of penalties associated with people trying to turn, and it does boost undead. Or it just means an area can't be used as an actual holy site for the duration of the spell, because it's being any bonuses it may or may not be giving to people of that specific entity. Of that specific entity. It's pretty much nope, you're not getting your bonuses from this site because it's considered cursed for this duration. The problem that people have is they think that the penalties should apply to a lot more than the turn check. Despite desecration, one of desecration's main purposes is to bolster the undead and make it harder for people to turn the undead inside the zone. They get confused.
Okay, so
go ahead.
If you're sufficiently evil and you have sufficient abilities, you could have people attack you, kill them all, raise them, and then send them back out to kill their friends.
Pretty much, yeah. And desecrate lets you turn more of them quicker because it's
more or less fuck that guy, fuck that party, and fuck everybody.
Yeah, but like I said,
that sounds like busy
people are like, "What do you mean they're resisting it?" It's like, well, because the spell's not affecting the barbarian. Nothing he has is being affected because he doesn't have the ability to turn them, so therefore he's not getting that penalty, and he's also not an undead, so he's not getting the bonuses. So the spell has no effect on him. It's like, what do you want? You burnt a spell to give penalties to your enemies, totally forgetting that this spell
doesn't bother them.
It's extremely specific on the penalties. It's like you're not fighting a super goody two shoes cleric or paladin that goes around turning undead. No, you're fighting an anti-paladin who's controlling undead, and he just looked at you like you're stupid because he's not turning them, so therefore he doesn't take the penalty. And the couple of undead that remains that he has, you just bolstered. Because this isn't it only affects your allies and what you want it to affect. No, it affects undead positively and turn checks negatively. So it's not necessarily a lack of reading the spell, it's just lack of understanding the spell. And I want to say that it's very few people cast a spell and then repeat that mistake. No, in one of the campaigns I played in, a party member cast that spell more than once in one game session, got told the same thing I just told you by the DM, and each time he cast it, he went, "Nuh-uh, it should take penalties to attack and hit." It's like, one, you're already given a warning that your character's going evil because you're casting an evil spell. 2, you're pissing off Paylor because he's lawful good and you're casting evil spells. 3, why are you casting a spell that helps undead when you're trying to fight a lich? Do you see the problem with people not thinking? It's like,
let's put it this way. If aliens ever come and abduct one human and say, give us a reason we shouldn't destroy all of human life, I really hope they don't get anybody from retail during Christmas season, because they're going to look right at you and go, I got nothing. Go for it. I got matches if you need them.
Do it, pussy.
Give me a week vacation before you eradicate everyone. So that way I can be at least in a happier state when you glass the planet. Yeah. So this spell falls under the category of, yes, it's a good spell, yes, it's an effective spell, but it needs to be used correctly. And it also falls in the category of, it's used by morons. Because again, it's never used correctly because people forget that spells tell you what they do, and you can't alter the spell effect because you decide a spell should magically work differently. So the penalties you get don't suddenly apply to everything. It's very specific. The bonuses it gives it only applies to a certain creature type, not everything. Just one of the things I've heard someone literally say is, well, we should all get bonuses to our attack and damage rolls and bonus hit points. And you just look at them and go, how many of the party is actually undead? Because last I checked, none of us are undead. But it's a buff spell. It's like, for undead.
It just seems like people keep missing that point.
Well, it is. Does when I say people confuse?
Hold on. Let me give you the point that everybody keeps missing. Read your fucking spells.
Dear God, again, if we ever do a merch drop, if we ever get to that point, yeah, that's definitely going to be merch, stickers, things. Yeah, read the fucking spell. Or at least, read. They need to bring back Reading Rainbow.
I think they were going to. And they are going to have a librarian that makes TikToks hosting it. I mean, I do like the guy, even though I don't have any more elementary school kids.
Well, yeah, still, they need to bring back Reading Rainbow to hammer in that reading's important.
Yeah.
But that being said, if anyone has any questions about Desecrate, please leave a comment. Moving on. Stepping away from that dead horse. The next spell is a spell I do like, even though there's a certain part of it that can get people in trouble, mainly because they're stupid with it, is Destruction. This is probably one of the best combat spells you can get, and when I get to the description, you'll quickly understand why. This is a necromancy death spell, 7th level cleric, 7th level death domain. The components are verbal semantic focus, Casting time, standard action. Range, close. Target, 1 creature. Duration, instantaneous. Saving throw, fortitude, partial. Spell resistance, yes. The description. This spell instantly slays the subject and consumes its remains, but not the equipment and possessions. Utterly. If the target's fortitude saving throw succeeds, it instead deals 10 die 6 points of damage. The only way to restore life to a character who has failed the saving throw against this spell is to use True Resurrection, a carefully worded wish followed by a resurrection or a miracle. Focus. A spectral a special holy symbol of silver marked with various verses of anathema. I can't pronounce that
Anathema.
word. Anathema. And that particular holy symbol cost 500 gold pieces. So it's an expensive focus, which you have to remember, material component and a focus are not the same thing. Material components are consumed, focuses are not. So unless someone steals, breaks, or otherwise destroys the focus, you can use that focus repeatedly. But just in that description, this spell is extremely potent because it slays the subject immediately and consumes the remains. Not what its gear or anything, just its remains. So you can look at the bad guy and go, haha, destruction.
Bye
And it is considered a death effect. So things that are immune to death effects obviously aren't affected by the spell. So there's some things that just look at you funny for casting this.
What the hell, man?
Yeah. But it's still just a lot of eat dick, you saucy flirt. Because if you pass, you're still taking somewhere between 10 to 60 points of damage.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So that's pretty decent. So it's either instantly die or take a bunch of damage. And if you are slain by this spell, there's only 2 particular ways to get them back. There's the use of a True Resurrection, because there's typically nothing left of the target, so you have to pretty much use the biggest words. Or a carefully worded wish that's also then followed by either a resurrection or a miracle. So typically, entities slain by this spell stay dead. Mainly because, is this person worth a true resurrection? Is this person worth a wish, followed by either resurrection or a miracle? How much thousands of gold pieces is it worth to get this person back? There's true resurrection is if I'm going off of memory, it's 20 grand worth of diamond dust you have to spend to get them back. Wish, you're looking at 36 grand. Miracle is at the same level, so that's also an extremely expensive spell. Both Wish and Miracle cost experience points. So it's the effort that has to be put in to bring the creature back has to be really high.
Has to be somebody pretty valuable.
Yeah. So there's a 9 out of 10 chance that entity will never reappear at any point in any campaign, because the effort to get them back most of the time isn't worth having them back.
Right.
So it's a fire and
Unless
forget.
your name is Vecna.
Vecna has 1,000,001 ways to avoid this spell. One, he's undead, so he's not affected by death effects. And if he wants something back, someone back that's been killed by this spell, he technically has free use of Wish. So he can double wish to have someone back. That's not a good thing because Vecna's a dick.
I was gonna say that's the bad guy from Stranger Things, correct?
He started off as a D&D
Yeah,
character.
he is a extremely powerful lich that's also a
Oh,
god.
okay.
He is the Lich of Liches.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
if you want to go, if someone starts showing like I'm the best lich around, no one's a better lich than me. You can look at them and go, look and go, does Vecna exist in this world? If someone says yes, you can go, no, you're not, because Vecna is counts technically as a death god, but he's also a god of magic.
He is quite literally that powerful.
Yeah, he's literally. I wanted to be a lich, so I became a lich. Then I wanted to be a god, and I became a god.
So Vecna is the incarnation of there has never been a party that has beaten him without a curve.
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
Legitimately beating Vecna is so you have to know that you're fighting Vecna first off, and then prep everything you can to counter him. And given his massive array of magical knowledge,
It's hard.
It's very difficult.
It doesn't help the fact that normally when you fight Vecna, he's at a handicap and he can still beat you because he's missing his, I want to say his right hand and like his left eye, which are both major artifacts. That if you possess it, you get access to shenanigan bullshit. So when people fight Vecna, he's at a severe handicap because again, he's missing a hand and an eye, which makes it doing certain things harder for him. But he's also a dick and has workarounds, like Still Spell, and magical means of detecting you. So if you're on that left side, well, he's using magic and he goes, I know you're there. Because, again, he's a giant dick. And he has no problems using this spell on you. Round 1.
Did you ever see the new Justice League movie? For example.
No,
Huh?
I have not seen any of the Justice League movies.
Okay. Well, in the newest one, Superman was dead, and they revived him. Well, he goes to fight the Justice League because he's not sure of who he is when he first wakes up. Well, Flash goes to flank him. Now everybody knows who Flash is. He literally stares this man down as he's running past him. That is Vecna.
Yeah, it's
Vecna. That is quite literally Vecna. He does not have a blind spot if he so chooses to not have a blind spot.
Yeah.
His only blind spot is the one he allows you to have.
Yeah. And I have the book that actually has his stats.
Okay.
So when we eventually start getting into the stupidity of gods, I just read that clerics are necromancers with a different name. That's one way to put it. When we start getting into gods and some of the limitations and stuff they put on them, we'll eventually go over Vecna on some of the stupidity they decided to give him versus some of the stuff he probably should have based on lore. Because again, it took great heroes just to, cleave off his hand and pop out his eye, and he still came back. Just without those pieces. And if he gets those pieces, he gets even more powerful. Because those
Sounds
are
like you
his
gotta put him
infinity
in blender.
stones.
The blender doesn't help. He would just break the blender.
Exactly. You can't actually destroy his eye or his hand because shenanigan bullcrap of A, they're major artifacts, and B, they're part of a god, so destroying them is...
Right.
It's like, do you have a major artifact that's equivalent to his or greater? If the answer is no, you're not doing it.
Basically, you need multiple gods to kill Vecna.
And Yeah, pretty much. Just like that's how much of a dick he is. Uh, but if anyone has any questions about destruction, please leave a comment. The next spell is a spell I rarely see used, mainly because people find it pointless. Because they go, okay, fine, I cast it. Well, guess what? We're already looking at the herd of sheep. Or we're walking in the forest. Of course, that's going to be pointless. I'm just going to be highlighting all the plants. Is the spell Detect Animals / Plants. The slash is because technically they're two different spells, but they have the same function. This is a divination, first level druid, first level ranger spell. Components are verbal semantic. Casting time, 1 standard action. Range, long, which means it has quite a distance. Area is a cone shaped. Duration, concentration, up to 10 minutes per level. So you kind of have to focus on it, but your limitation is 10 minutes per level. So starting off at like level 1, like you have 10 minutes. That's like 100 rounds of you focusing at level 1. So it can last at still a very decent time. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, none. Description: you can detect particular kind of animal or plant in a cone emanating out from you in whatever direction you face. You must think of a kind of animal or plant when using the spell, but you can change the animal or plant kind each round. The amount of information revealed depends on how long you search a particular area or focus on a particular kind of animal or plant. Round 1, it's presence or absence of that kind of animal or plant in the area. Round 2, number of individuals of that specific kind in the area and the condition of the healthiest specimen. Round 3, the condition and location of each individual present. If an animal or plant is outside your line of sight, then you discern its direction, but not its exact location. Conditions. For purpose of this spell, the category of conditions are as following. Normal has at least 90% of its full HP and free of disease. Fair, 30 to 90% full health remaining. Poor, less than 30% of its normal hit points remaining, affected with a disease or suffering from a debilitating injury. Weak, 0 or fewer hit points remaining, affected with a disease in the terminal stage, or crippled. If a creature falls into more than one category, the spell indicates the weaker of the two. Each round, you can turn to detect a kind of animal or plant in a new area. The spell can penetrate barriers, but 1 foot of stone or 1 inch of common metal or a thin sheet of lead or 3 feet of wood or dirt blocks it. The DM decides if a specific kind of animal or plant is present. Now, based on the description and a brief thing I mentioned when I first started with this spell, you can see where there's a obvious confusion that leads people to just not care about the spell entirely because they find it pointless. So it's not that they fail to read the spell, it's that they don't read any part of it because they find it useless. Can any of you guess to what part they failed to realize about the spell?
No.
People assume that it works. I love people talking about AI view steam botting.
What?
I don't see shit.
Yeah, a
No.
first-time viewer mentioned it, put a thing up for AI view botting. It's pretty much a thing that some streamers do, where they have AIs that they pay a program to have X amount of AIs give you X amount of viewers while you're streaming a video.
Oh,
It
that's weird.
raises viewer count, therefore you can get particular qualifications faster, and it also makes you seem more popular, so more people naturally watch it more. Um, yeah, I don't do that crap. It's like no, it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Back to the spell. Like I said, a lot of people think it works like detect magic or detect good or like any of the other detects, where you cast it, and if you're like, well, I cast detect animal, it's just going to automatically give you a 60-foot radius that's going to pop up with animals, because that's what a lot of the other detects do. It's they protect. It's like what you're detecting. If it's within this range, you can see it because it's glowing. So
Did
they
you
just
unban that person I banned?
no.
Because I just got a message that says that they are no longer banned from the channel.
Hmm.
So I just banned them again.
Oh, you must have hit ban right before I hit ban.
Oh.
That must have what happened. So it registered me banning you banning them first, and then
And then you unban them.
yeah,
Technically.
technically, because
Okay.
it didn't. Yeah, you just beat me to the punch apparently.
I'm just faster than you are. It's fine.
No. Um, but like I said, because they assume that it's just gonna pick up those animals, or if you're in the forest, all the plants are gonna be glowing now, because it's gonna detect all the plants. So they just don't read the spell. They don't look up anything on the spell. And if they did, they'll find out it actually is a lot more than that. One, it's at minimum 440-foot radius, not a 60-foot radius, so it's a huger area. Two, if you're casting detect animals, you're looking for a specific animal, like boar, or rabbits, or squirrels, and it's only going to pick up those animals in that radius, not every single animal. Same thing with plants. So if you're trying to look for an apple tree and it's a forest of mixed trees, you're not sure where the actual apple tree is. You don't want to waste time looking. So you cast a spell and you're looking for an apple tree. It will highlight if there's apple trees there. You focus a little bit more. You can pretty much know what direction you have to go in, roughly how far you have to go in, and how many there are, and if they're in good condition or poor condition. If you're looking for a canopy creeper, which for those playing at home is a huge size plant creature that is really good at sneaking up on you, because you can walk through an area that has vines, not realizing that 4 of them belong to the canopy creeper 100 feet above you, which then it just
Ew.
ropes you up and pulls you up to eat you. Because yes, it has a big feed me see more mouth. This spell, you can go, okay, I'm going to focus. Is there canopy creepers in that direction within at least this distance? Nope. Keep concentrating. You move somewhat forward, forward, because again, it's concentration up to 10 minutes per caster level, and you just do that for the entire duration of the spell, and you can at least guarantee that you're not going to get eaten by canopy creepers. If you're trying to avoid treants, because you don't want to, get too close to a treant that might decide that punching you was a good idea. That's a plant. Hopefully there's no treants in this area. So it does a lot more than what people think it does, which makes it a pretty good spell, because it has a huge duration to it, as long as you're actually focusing on it. It affects a huge area. Because again, 400
Yes, I was
feet
just
with
looking it up.
yeah,
Excuse me.
Yeah, like 400 feet with additional 400 feet per caster level. That's pretty good for a first level spell. 10 minutes per caster level is really good for a first level spell. But people decide to not care about it because they don't care about detect animals or detect plants, because they assume, again, that it's all that fall under the purview of that word versus what the spell actually does. So when I say I can't remember the last time someone used this spell, it's because I literally can't remember anyone using that spell, and the only real times it's come up in conversation is people dishing it because they consider it a stupid waste of a spell. Simply because they just don't read it at all, because they don't care to. But hands down, I still think it's a very good spell, if actually used. That being said, if anyone has any questions about detect animal / plants, please leave a comment. The next spell is Detect Chaos, because we're getting into the text. This is a divination, first level cleric spell. Description: this spell functions like Detect Evil, except that it detects an aura of chaotic creatures, clerics of chaotic deities, chaotic spells, and chaotic magical items. And you are vulnerable to an overwhelming chaotic aura if you are lawful. That's how simple to detect chaos is, because we have to read a different spell to get the actual workings of how the spell works. Because this is the chaos version of the base spell, which is Detect Evil. So we're going to move to Detect Evil, which is the very next spell. Which Detect Evil is a first level spell, divination. Components: verbal, semantic, divine focus. Casting time, standard action. Range, 60 feet. Area: it's a cone-shaped emission, so pretty much where you're looking is out to 60 feet. Duration is concentration up to 10 minutes per caster level. No saving throw, no spell resistance. Description: you can sense the presence of evil. The amount of information revealed depends on how long you are studying a particular area or subject. Round 1, the presence or absence of evil. 2, number of evil auras in the area and the power of the most potent evil aura present. If you are good aligned and the strongest evil aura's power is overwhelming, see below. And the hit dice or level of the aura's source is at least twice your character level. You are stunned for 1 round and the spell ends. Round 3, the power and location of the aura. If the aura is outside your line of sight, then you discern the direction but not its exact location. Aura power. An evil aura's power depends on the type of evil creature or object that you detected, and it hit dice, caster level, or, in the case of some clerics, class level. See the accompanying table. If an aura falls into more than one strength category, then the spell indicates the strongest of the two. For example, an indicated on the table of an evil outsider with 12 hit dice has an overwhelming powerful aura of evil. A good cleric who's cast this spell and directs it at the location of such a creature for longer than 1 round loses the spell and is stunned for 1 round if his character level is 6 or lower. Lingering aura. An evil aura lingers after its original source dissipates, in case of a spell, or is destroyed, in case of a creature or magical item. If a Detect Evil is cast and directed at such a location, the spell indicating the aura's strength of dim, even weaker than a faint aura. How long the aura lingers at the dim level depends on its original power level. Original strength. There's faint, which has a lingering aura of a die 6 rounds. Moderate, die 6 minutes. Strong, die 6 times 10 minutes. Overwhelming, die 6 in days. Animals, traps, poisons, or other potential perils are not evil. As such, is spells not does not detect them. Each round you can turn to detect evil in a new area. This spell can penetrate barriers, but 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt blocks it. The aura power, based on creature or object. Evil creature, it's hit dice, which 10 or lower, faint, 11 to 25, moderate, 26 to 50, strong, 51 or higher, overwhelming. Undead, 2 or lower is faint, 3 to 8, moderate, 9 to 20, strong, 21 or higher, overwhelming. Evil outsider, hit dice, 1 or lower, faint, 2 to 4, moderate, 5 to 10, strong, 11 or higher, overwhelming. Clerics of an evil deity, it's class level, and it follows the same rules for outsiders, which is 1 for faint, 2 to 4 for moderate, 5 to 10 for strong, and 11 or higher is overwhelming. Evil magic or spells based on the caster level, which is 2nd or lower, faint, up to 8 is moderate, up to 20 is strong, and anything 21 or higher is overwhelming. There is slight exceptions. 1, except for undead and outsiders, which have their own entries on the table. Hence the undead and outsider part. This when it says evil creatures, generally people assume just any evil creature. Well, undead and evil outsiders are separate. There's 2, which this applies to clerics of evil deities. Some characters who are not clerics may radiate an aura of equal power. The class description will indicate whether this applies. So right there you can tell if something's considered truly potent or powerful based on if it's an evil creature, a cleric of an evil god, some sort of evil spell or magic being used, an undead or an outsider. Which, even with that, it can still be confusing because sometimes people don't really know where things fall because they underthink or overthink it. But this spell and an array of spells that pretty much do the same exact thing, but for a different alignment, such as Detect Chaos, does the same thing, but for chaos. That means it uses the same aura chart and lingering aura, but instead of it being evil, it's chaos. There's also Detect Good and Detect Law, which do the same thing, but for their respective alignments. So all 4 spells pretty much do the exact same thing. They can tell you if if something with that alignment is present, potentially how powerful it is, and or if something of that alignment has recently passed through the area. So it can be real good to just pick things out. And the most common Detect Alignment spell used is Detect Good. Now, a thing I will state, because this is the last spell we're going to cover, is a lot of the listings, when you look at your spell list, it says Detect chaos slash evil slash good slash law. That does not mean when you pick it, well, not when you pick it, when you cast it, you just pick that one alignment, or it picks all alignments. When you prep the spell, you have to choose what one of those four alignments. Reason I say that is there's been multiple times where people have gone, I have detect alignment. It's like, that's detect alignment technically isn't an actual spell. There's 4 spells that detect alignment, but they're specific. They're like, no, I have detect alignment. And they go off of because they see the all 4 alignments with a slash between them. It's like, no, they're each a separate spell. There is no actual I detect alignment. Otherwise, because that's an alignment is an A, it would actually be right up there before detect chaos.
Right.
So a lot of people, for some weird reason, don't get that instead of just having 4 spells down, detect chaos, detect evil, detect good, and detect law, there they just put it all up in one. It's the same thing with like detect animal or plants. They think that it works as both, but no, it's just this, or just this, not both. This is one of those, you have to pick one of the alignments when you prep the spell, not when you cast the spell, when you prep the spell. And because this is these are cleric spells, that further confuses and confines people. Because again, cleric spells you have to prep. You can't spontaneously cast them because that's only specific spells, not this. So it is irritating looking at a person go, no, it's not detect everything. It's a pick one of those. Those are 4 separate spells. So it gets real frustrating because lack of understanding of what they're reading. I've sometimes said that before, and I'll probably say it again. So it's not that they didn't read, it's just lack of understanding of what they read.
Right.
And a lot of people drop the ball on that and are willing to start a fight over it. Because I've been
And
known to
sometimes
do that.
they're just trying to see what they can get past you.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those scenarios where they say a spell and they hope that you have a lack of knowledge on spells so they can get it by, or the whole, oh, you're too lazy to actually check, or for a simplicity check, you're going to just run with it. And that comes from players that, again, don't comprehend what they read, or they want something to work outside the preview of what it actually does, or they're just dense. So it's like, because they are really good. It's like the paladin at a certain point can start throwing detect good around like it's nothing. And 9 out of 10 times, they're not even trying to focus on the area. They're just doing it, okay, I cast it, so that for that round, they can know if something is good. And then they kind of either forget about the spell, or they just run around doing the 1 round thing. It's like, okay, I move over here and I'm concentrating this round. Move over here, concentrate on this round. The part that people don't read is it takes 3 rounds of you concentrating to get all the information. Not 1 round. The 1 round is the presence or absence of that alignment. And generally how potent it is. That's really it. If you want any more information, you need to sit there and you need to have round 2 and round 3 kick off. But like I said, there's just a lot of people who just fail to comprehend what the spell does. And again, it's not due to lack of reading, it's just lack of understanding. But I said that is our last spell we're going to cover. Since we have reached our time a wee bit. So I'm going to thank anyone and everyone for watching. If you have any questions about any of the detect alignment spells, please leave a comment. And we will catch you next week for more out-of-state DMing as we attempt to cover even more spells. Thank you. Good night.